Hi everyone, welcome and Om Shanti to the next normal in collaboration with America Meditating Radio. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. How you doing? I hope you're hanging in there, keeping your heart as strong and powerful as possible. It's been interesting getting a lot of text messages and emails of just feeling how hard people are in the world. Like a lot of people, some who are awakened and some who are getting awoke or whatever. It's like they're feeling that there's just not a lot of positivity in the world. And I get that. So life is like this. It's throwing you a lot of various balls, to juggle with, to somehow dig deep inside of your soul and to respond to every situation and circumstance with love. Now, our tribe, pretty much, that's the industry that we're in now. We want to emerge with love. We want to emerge with what's kind, what's balanced, what makes everybody happy, without tilting the scales too much of losing our principles. So where is the answer? How do we really create world peace when we first have to be the ones who maintain our peace? You could feel like you're not doing anything at all wrong, and then some situation, circumstance comes and it just starts to go, ugh. It gives you an extra thought where you have to do some extra things. But that's all about life. That's exactly why we're all here. It's all good. Absolutely good. Nothing's wrong. No one's wrong. Even if you feel someone is doing something wrong, it's right. And even the right that you've done, somebody thinks it's wrong. You see what I mean? It's all good. It's all good. So just hang in there. No matter how tough it gets, nothing outside of you is more powerful than your soul. I'm happy to welcome back our wonderful friend, Robert Clancy, who is a creative visionary, #1 international best-selling author, spiritual teacher, and founder of spiralshare.com. It's an online social media marketing platform harnessing the power of positive influence. His Facebook fan page, Guide to the Soul, there he shares his divinely inspired thoughts. It's now followed by nearly 1 million people worldwide. Robert is a featured spiritual expert, appearing with Dr. Joe Vitale, Don Miguel Ruiz, Brian Tracy, Dannion Brinkley in the movie Becoming the Keys. Robert also co-hosts and produces the Mindset Reset Show, an internationally syndicated television show. And he's a weekly guest on Los Angeles KABC Radio, syndicated late-night health radio show where he shares his inspirational thoughts. Today, let's welcome Robert Clancy to the Next Normal and America Meditating Radio. Will you keep yourself busy, Robert?
I'm like a type A personality, so there's
You're like me. I'm the same. We're like two peas in a pod, two type A's, and may we stay that way with a little touch of B.
I call it AAA, actually. You can, why not?
Hey, listen, I am somebody who believes that if the soul is so powerful, why not bring that power into life and make the world a better place than the way you found it? Don't you agree?
Yeah, and I've always had, my internal philosophy is anything is possible. So if anything's possible, it just takes time, energy, and whatever you put into it. But it always comes down to when you have passion for whatever that is. And I, recently took up scuba diving. So I mean, I was afraid of swimming. Learned how to swim about 4 years ago, and I actually was down 130 feet. That's about 15 stories down in the blue hole in Belize, from going from not really swimming to that. So, anything is possible. And I've seen some amazing things down there. There's a whole nother world in the ocean. So, discovery is part of that when you can get out and really experience life.
Oh wow, Belize has one of the great wonders of the world with their underground.
Mm.
Yeah, I have very good memories there, very beautiful memories. Social media has a lot of people smiling and looking really happy, like life is really perfect. And behind the smile, there are a lot of challenges. We talk a lot about our success stories, or people see our success, but they don't necessarily understand the challenges that we went through to get there. At an early age, you hit rock bottom. What were you going through at the time, and What was it that pulled you out of that difficult situation?
Well, at the time I was a straight A or, A and B student. I was doing very well in college. Everything was going well. I had, everything was perfect in life. And then I had several friends die tragically. There were 2 suicides, car accidents. Then, my friends were away. My closer friends were away at their college, so I didn't have anybody really to rely on. And my girlfriend and I broke up, and that was it. Once I got devastated from love, I was like, I can't feel anymore. I don't want to feel anything anymore. And it just brought me to probably the darkest moment, and I only dipped my toe in what people experience, but I was at rock bottom. I know what that feels like, and it was horrible. I just didn't. It was almost like I was having panic attacks because every time I try to function or think, you couldn't even move forward. I was just like, I think about the loss of the friends or, the devastation for my relationship and everything. And it was the worst, horrible feeling. And I started drinking and mixing prescription drugs to the point where I couldn't feel anything. Just kind of numb.
Yeah. How'd you get out of it?
Well, long story short, I was working this restaurant and I actually ended up in the hospital and, got out from that. And the people in the restaurant I worked with knew something was off because I was really good at masking everything until Pandora's box opened. Then they knew, okay, something's going on. But this waitress pulled me aside and she said, put your hand out like this. And I did. And she puts this pamphlet and she puts her hand over it. And it's a pamphlet on prayerful meditation. And she said, I want you to go home and do this. And I don't want to see you out. I don't want to see you doing anything that you've been doing. You're going to end up killing yourself. And she gave me that 50-yard stare. And then she explained that, her mother, she was about 24, 25 years old. Her mother had died in her arms, when she was like 16 years old. And she said, this got me through. And I mean, she gave me that look. I mean, I was just like, okay. And then she hugged me. I went home. And I was angry at God at the time because of all the things that had happened. So I challenged him. I said, if I don't see something tonight, I'm done, and have at it, heal me. And so I went into this prayerful meditation for about a good 3 hours. And I thought I saw a light. I opened my eyes and this light was shining on the wall. And I was just like, said, oh, this was a waste. But then I couldn't break the beam of the light. I kept waving my hand in front of it. I actually walked over. And it was like in this dark sphere, almost like oval in the wall. And there was light coming from it. So I sat there in my bed like this, and I kept closing my eyes and opening them. And I could not, make the beam go away. I could see it either way. And then it just flashed and opened up like a butterfly. And an angel had manifested in front of me. And I wish everyone on this planet could have that experience because I got to see it with my eyes, open or closed. When I closed them, it looked like an X-ray version of it, and then it was super sharp. So I kept doing the, and it was just I knew why she was there. There were no words ever spoken, but this light was coming out of her onto me. And she said, this is the form I chose because this is most comfortable for you. Email apparition, it was almost ghost-like. But yeah, and I kept this a secret for 30 years, even from my family. It was in 2012 when my mother passed away. It was on Mother's Day. And I spoke to my father that night and told him what I just told you. And I said, I can't keep this a secret. I have to share this. And I kept it a secret because I didn't want to be judged by people. I didn't, I'm an analytical person. I'm a programmer. I've got the numbers, the ones and zeros mind. And then I had that experience. But, I haven't had a day where I haven't thought about that beautiful moment with her. And she touched me in the forehead. And it was being plugged into what you opened with is love. Just this incredible, like having the internet plugged into your head with every beautiful everything all at once. Yeah. Then it just closed and said it will unfold when you need to. And I get words. I Everything inspires me. I can see it's like God's math on almost everything. And I've lived like that, just with that smile that you talk about. And
It's so beautiful. I get it. I went for a stroll yesterday with the family, and we were talking about the same thing, how everyone's going to have access to an experience of divinity or God or an angel, but it's a matter of which tribe. And we were just talking about some friends who are very, very, very well known and large, large followings, and they've had those similar experiences, that awakening. And I wonder if that's a time that we're in, Robert, if there is a nudging going on inside of many of us to awaken to that divine experience of God. And we didn't talk. You didn't talk about it. I could, because I had a family that was entrenched in it. But it's such an interesting secret, and I wonder how many more people in the world are actually walking around with that awakening and that divine experience of God's love and light touching the soul right here. I bet this is exactly where she pointed at you,
yeah.
right? She
Yes.
says, because what she was telling you is your soul, don't forget that. And your soul is what makes the decisions through your senses. So after that happened, 30 years later, did you notice how you had changed a lot? Of course, we're going to change, but especially after that experience, what was the change that came over you?
Well, the first one was that, she showed me I wasn't on my path. So I had to make that immediate turn. And it took about 4 or 5 years for me to step back on it. And that was this reverse climb I kind of went through. But it was all part of the process. And I was to work with youth and inspire them. And here I am, a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, looking in the mirror at this face that now has the knowledge of a person from their entire life. So it's like me now looking at the kid, and I'm going, "Oh my God, I'm still a kid, but I'm supposed to inspire kids." And I'm like, I have all this information now, and what am I supposed to do? So I volunteered. I was guided to volunteer with youth, and I spent 30 consecutive years in New York volunteering with Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership, inspiring these kids who she showed me like a rainstorm with ripples coming out, and that's all the kindness that's going to come out. And now I've been in there so long that all of the leaders now that are running this conference, and they raise $80,000 to $100,000 a year to put this on for another 200 or 150 high school sophomores that come in, are all the high school sophomores who are now growing up, who I've inspired to continue to lead this thing. So it's just been rippled out from all of this, and
Beautiful, huh?
it's just
It's like
journey.
you might have been 19 years old, but the soul wasn't, yeah? The soul had a much more deeper impact in terms of its journey. As something that always makes me keep staying sane on my journey of spirituality is that we really are all souls on a journey. And the roles that we play or the parts that we play, it's like a bus stop. You get off of this bus stop and then you meet and you deal with a whole bunch of stuff and then you go back on, you go to another journey, and it fascinates me. COVID-19 is no joke. It has certainly turned us upside down, and it has a lot of, you know, it has impacted our lives very much. We are in a quandrum. We don't know what to do, what's next. What is it all about where you're concerned? What do you think the lesson is that we are being called to learn?
Well, I don't look at it as a lesson. It's more of you have to look for the silver lining. It's always something positive in there. When my mother was diagnosed with cancer, it took the smile from her face. And this is a woman who lived her entire life with this smile. And then she had gotten dementia, and it devastated our family. We were like, "Oh my God, we're going to lose her." Not only to cancer, but now she's not going to know who we are. And what she forgot was that she had cancer. Silver linings. My reset with this whole COVID was the ability to move from New York and to California. I had a big change in my life. I went through a separation in my marriage and didn't know, I have a plan. I didn't know where I was going, what's going to happen. And I was able to move to California, and I've been coming out here and I just love this area and I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
here. And now I get, this beautiful light every day. It's not these gloomy, rainy skies anymore. And the
Hmm.
weather and experiencing, just more hiking and the ocean that's here and all the beautiful things. And just that change, it allowed me to do that. But also because not only did my marriage end, but we were business partners. So I left the business too. So now I don't have a job. But then I was just like everyone else.
Yeah.
We're all in that same boat that, everyone had to work from home. Everyone had to figure it out. And I felt comfort in that, okay, you're going to be okay because everybody else is going through this. And I think it would have been
Yeah.
weird for me if COVID didn't happen and I did this move. So those are the
Mm.
silver linings, but you have to look in the good of things and the connectivity. And if there is a lesson in there, it's appreciating the little things in life, those little things that you miss now, being able to run up and hug everybody, attend a big event or those things. And now you're seeing the small things and appreciation of those. And I guess that's for me what the biggest takeaway is.
Yeah, the value of the little things in life. It's so true to slow us down to some extent. And going back to the story with your mom, my mom has dementia now, and she had stopped talking about how much pain she's feeling and this and that. And now I've noticed that recently she's talking about her pain. I go, "Oh my God, are you coming back?" And she just kind of looks at me, coming back from where?
Well, my mother lost her short term memory, and anytime you'd speak with her, it would trigger some story, but it was a story from our childhood. And she'd tell the same story again in gross detail. And you'd hear this story maybe 5, 6 times. It could be in the same week. The beauty of that, it could get frustrating because you're going, oh my God, she's telling me that story again. But now I have all these memories from her memory because she was able to access those from the dementia.
Will process something that I'm going through to wonder what is it that I need to experience or accept. So I've been kind of navigating through that as we speak. So keeping perspective on life um, is important to you. Elaborate a little bit more on why is like keeping your perspective so important.
Well, I always learn from my experiences, and I was actually volunteering, and it was in Schoharie down. They had a huge flood in this town that I went down to help out with, and it was during the cleanup. And I remember seeing the water line on a 2-story building almost to the second story. That's where the floodwaters were up to. And the ground had all of this, like, it's almost crystalline. It was beautiful. It was just this glitter. And I was like, wow, the sand here is amazing. And they said, that's not the sand. That's all of our windows, our glasses, our plates, our china, everything from the devastation from the storm. So, of course, while we're cleaning up, going into this house, and it was all gutted from the lower, just the beams were left, and they're serving soup and everything. This person runs in, they said, oh my God, there's a storm warning. Heavy storms are coming. Everybody starts getting jittery. And I see this little boy, and he walks out, and he's looking at the sky like this. And a woman came over, and he said, it's going to rain. I think that's bad. And the woman said, no, actually, the farmers need rain for their crops to grow. And then he looked up again and he went, well, amen, penny. Changed his perspective of this thing that had devastated his life, his town, everything that he knows. And all of a sudden, he's appreciating the rain that's going to come. And those little moments when you can change perspective, I have these words that I get as I explain, and they're all memorized and stored as pictures. So I love this one. It's one of my favorites. It's of all the journeys of life, you'll encounter valleys of despair and mountains of hope. Just note the heavens are above those valleys and the mountaintops touch them. To reach the summit, take one hope-filled step past your fear, doubt, and worry. And when I speak those words, I actually see myself looking at the valley when you're on the mountain. And when you're in the valley, you see the mountain that you want to climb. And both seem beautiful places, but you don't appreciate them when you're there because you can't stay on the mountaintop that long. You can't be in the valley. And when you're in the valley, sometimes you can't find your way. So you figure out, go to the mountain to see then you see this beautiful valley, like, oh my God, that's so amazing and lush. I should go back down there. You can't spend time in either place, but the journey is actually going through those and experiencing them. So the perspective is, if you were in a hole in the valley, like rock bottom, and you're there, that's all you see is the light and the way out. So you got to climb out. If you're standing at the edge of the hole, you're just seeing a pit there. But when you're on top of the mountain, all you see is the valley. There is no hole. It's all perspective.
Sure is. A perspective interpretation. I can see why you have over 500,000 people connecting to your inspirational Facebook page, Guide to the Soul. Where were you at that time in your life when you started the page? Did you expect that it would climb to such an impactful outreach?
No, I was actually almost not in fear of putting it out, but I thought I would get, people would criticize anything, and all I got was positive response, and it started growing by 1,000 and 10,000 and 20,000, and I was going, oh my God, like, what is going on? And I was just posting. I'd wake up every day. I set a goal to write one inspirational thing every week for a year, and then I thought that'd be too easy, so let's do it every day. And I did it every single day without fail for 4 straight years. Every day I'd post something, anything positive. And I got messages from a woman in the Philippines. One of them stood out to me. Was she said that she was planning on committing suicide that day. She read what I wrote and she changed her mind. I thought, what if I didn't post that day? There'd be 2 children without a mother.
Yeah, those things
So I
do
just
drive
kept
us.
going. And at the time, to answer your question, in 2012, it was December 1st, 2012, when I started the page. And there was a horrible accident in our community that same day where 2 high school young people were killed. There were 4. There were 2 couples. The boy of one couple and the girl of the other couple were killed. So both couples were broken up. The other 2 were in critical condition, and 2 of them were killed. And it was killed by a young man who was drinking, driving, texting, and on drugs and speeding. Could you do everything? So he did, and ended up hitting their car. And I knew I'd meet those families, and I had to help them somehow work on forgiveness. I was guided in some way. I just felt strongly that to do this, and I didn't know them. Obviously the man who did this was vilified in the community. There were 20,000 people who showed up at the arena because this was the football captain of the high school and the softball captain, that had died in this car accident. And I didn't meet the people; they found me, and my words are actually carved onto the girl's headstone. And I got to visit the gravesite, and they said, "You described our daughter in a single sentence, and we want your blessing to put that on there. And you must be an amazing soul to share these words with the world." I couldn't think of a better honor or blessing than that. And the words are, when you love with all your heart, life becomes one big smile. That's it. I don't know. I just was guided to do these, put them out there. And I still get them. I just access them now when I want to. It's just not, flooding in every moment, but I just clear my mind. I can see something in a flower or or just the sunlight or anything.
Such a beautiful story. I mean, at the age of 19, I can't believe that your life changed so much and that it would turn out to be something that would save so many. When that angel touched your forehead, man, she was getting ready to use you to save you for others. Beautiful story. Your spirit is so kind. I'm really appreciating our time together today. In your book, Soul Cyphers, there's a chapter that you've got titled called Reverse Climbs. I was curious to find out what it actually meant.
Well, I've talked to a lot of hikers, and most don't even know what that is, and are mountain climbers. And I said, "Does anybody know anybody mountain climbers?" I've been in front of audiences, and no hands. And I said, "Okay, a few put up." And I said, "Does anybody know what a reverse climb is?" And then no. So the long story short is that I ended up going to the Southwest with a friend of mine who had never been further west than Fredonia, New York, and we went out there for this odyssey. It was 3,000 miles in 11 days on a car. Saw pretty much everything you can in the Southwest, including the Grand Canyon. So we picked a trail, Bright Angel. Why not? It's got Angel in it. It can't be that bad. But it's like doing class 5 rapids. And you start out, when I got to the trailhead, all these people looked like they'd been to hell. Up. I mean, their faces are red. And I walked from the hotel. It was about, a mile and a half from our hotel over to the trailhead. And it was a beautiful day. So I might as well experience that in the morning. And I get there and these people are just coming up, and I'm like, wow, they're out of shape. And I'm just sailing down this thing. I'm just hiking down into the Grand Canyon and no problem. And I saw this little house. It looked like a Monopoly piece down there, and the ants are going in it, and you see the ants coming back out. And it literally did look like ants on a trail, because that's how far the perspective was from where I was. I got about, I don't know, a couple hours, maybe 3 hours in, and I came across this sign that said, if you choose to pass this sign and you don't have 4 liters of water on your person, we will not be able to rescue you or recover your body for some time. And then had the national park, logo on there. And somebody wrote, "Have a nice day," with a smiley. And if you were illiterate, it had pictures like showing water bottles and then no water and a skull and crossbones kind
Oh
of,
my gosh.
you know. So I look at my backpack and I have a half a bottle of water and a half a sandwich, because I did not pack for this thing, and I was having no trouble. And I'm thinking, this is not no issues at all. So I passed that. About 45 minutes later, I came across a park ranger, and he said, "Yeah, we lose people on this trail all the time." And I'm looking at like, well, you guys aren't looking very hard, because it only goes down to that house and comes back, the gift shop. And he said, "Well, that's not a gift shop. That's where you get your water for the return trip." And I was like, "Oh." And it didn't dawn on me that he was saying they lose people as in they die. But they just got lost. And so the reverse climb, I discovered, is when you turn around. And then you're on. So I had been down maybe 4 hours, and I didn't get any closer to the little house down there. But when you turn around, you have an incredible set of stairs to climb for another 8 hours, because it takes you twice as long to get back up.
Yeah, yeah.
I was out there for 12 hours climbing stairs. I don't know if you ever climbed 3 flights of stairs in like 15 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but doing that for 12 hours, and it's not even stairs, it's God's staircase. I got to the top. I was holding both of my legs and trying to pick up my legs and walk with my head hunched over. And I looked like the people I saw earlier, who looked like they'd been to hell, and they had. Get all the way back. I look over to my friend. I'm like, I can't believe we didn't bring the car. We still have to get back to the hotel. Hunched over, I get into the lobby, and this woman's there, and she smiles. She says, "You boys been hiking?" Like, yeah. She goes, "Where'd you go?" "In the canyon." "Well, what trail?" "Well, Bright Angel Trail." She went, "Oh, yeah, that's a hard one." "You know the name for that trail? It's Satan's Staircase." I was like, kind of discovered that. So the point of it is, I was laying there in my bed that night, and I thought about the people who died on that trail, and how stupid I was to think that, I didn't plan, I didn't have the water, and I didn't listen to the signs. But then I thought about the people who didn't ask for help, or the people that walked past them saying, "Hey, you don't look so good. Maybe you need some water." Because what happens is, as you're going down, you're going into a desert and you're dehydrating slowly, and you don't realize it. And then you have this choice to turn around, but now you've got twice the time to get back out. So you didn't plan ahead. It was 4 hours down, 6 hours down. It's 12 hours out to climb out. And thought about, if you just reach your hand out, and when you need help, you need to ask for it.
Yeah.
And when you see somebody in need, you need to reach your hand out. And if you reach with one hand, you may touch someone. Reach with two, and you may touch two. But when you reach with your heart, you'll touch everyone.
Yeah.
And it was that lesson that I learned on that journey down. And I never got to the bottom. I never saw the floor of the Grand Canyon. Maybe someday I'll get there, but it's definitely not on that trip.
Definitely not on the Angel Trail for sure.
I am going to Death Valley New Year's, so I'm going to be hiking through there for 4 days. So I'm bringing water, though. I'm bringing water.
Good luck on that one, right? It reminds me when I was in China, a group of us and friends, we went there, and I was speaking with a Perry Ellis at the time for their staff there. So they took me to the Great Wall of China.
Mm-hmm.
And I remembered looking at everyone's faces when they were walking back, and not one person had a happy face. And I remember just seeing that, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that walk because not a single person looked happy. But for those of us who had just arrived and we saw the Great Wall of China, and everybody that was in our section is like, oh my God, this is great. And so there was one person who's like, I can't believe you're going to come to the Great Wall of China and not walk it. I says, yeah, I'll go a little bit, but I don't know if I can go all the way. Just go. It's the only time we'll come to China, and, you have to walk the wall. And we're like, you can walk it. I'll be here. Sure enough, she kind of looks at us, you guys are wimps, man, and then she goes trekking like she's the tough one. She didn't come back. I knew she didn't go the whole way because it's so long. But we noticed that when she came back, she didn't look so good.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of hiking where I've seen that,
yeah, that look. Yeah,
where you run out of water and you're dehydrated. This one woman was grabbing a tree and shaking it and screaming because
wow.
I was out of water on the trail. I was on the Appalachian Trail.
Wow.
And it was tough.
Yeah, I don't have the stamina for those things. I'll leave that to the courageous ones. I'll stay in my wimp category. As we talk about the soul, our soul is just, our soul is the container for everything. Like it's holding our past, our present, and our future. It is holding the opportunity for God's light and love to seep into, maybe give us a moment of grace, a moment of divinity, a moment of great power. But there are times it gets a little hitched on to something or some experience or maybe of the past. What exactly is soul hitches? Because you've discussed this. I'd like if you could explain a little bit more about that.
We're having one right now. It's these people that just randomly or somehow you connect, and sometimes by chance, and they have a message for you, and you ride their soul for a little bit. You learn something, or they show you something. And I had it happen when I was 6 years old with this man in Jamaica, Alex the Pool Man. And he taught me the basic swimming, but I was still afraid of water, and it still stayed with me. But I was able to at least, paddle my way up to the surface, and was never a strong swimmer. But he ended up saving my life in 3 times in 3 different ways. One by teaching me, giving me the courage to do that, and then saved me from a Portuguese man-of-war jellyfish. It had stung him. It almost stung me. I thought it was a balloon. And then he took me to his village, and I saw poverty for the first time, but I saw people that were happy.
Yeah.
And they celebrated me. They made a crown out of palm leaves from They presented fruit and put me on a donkey and walked me through the village around every house, singing Jamaican Christian reggae hymns behind me, and did this whole thing. And I ended up going home with only the clothes on my back because I had my parents give him all of my clothes to take to the kids.
Wow, I love that. Such a story of love.
Changed me because it taught me something, and those things happen all the time, and it's just riding this energy of someone else and being in their presence.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for writing mine, and I've loved writing yours. Love is so important nowadays. They have a particular island in Dubai that's called Love, in the Middle East. You arrive Miami International Airport, and it has a big thing on love inside the airport. The Beatles, all you need is love. Songs, music, movies, love, 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 love. And yet there's division, there's hate, there's fear, there's insecurity, there's depression, there's anxiety, there is uncertainty. The whole point of life is really to learn what love is, it seems. So, how would you explain the power of love? And why is it the thread that is needed now to hold the universe together?
Well, for me, love has no synonyms. They're close, but there's only one word. And I've written 67,000 or 70,000 words trying to describe what it is. And then, as you said, it is the very thread that holds the fabric of the universe together. And sometimes it's the only thing that's holding your universe together. It's the one thing that is instant. Love is the only thing that also travels at the speed of light, because you can send love everywhere. And for me, it's why we're here. It's to learn what that is. And for me, my journey, it's self-love. You have to understand that you're always loved. So why are you seeking it? It's, to seek it in someone else is one thing, but to understand that you already have everything because you are loved, you are held by God. Um, we never see the great picture that God paints for us because we're always standing upon his canvas. And you have to trust that that image is beautiful. And sometimes you can't understand the picture, but the only thing that you can change about the picture is how it's framed. And sometimes the frame is even more beautiful than the image itself.
A lot
Just
of those pictures around.
perspective and looking at that. But for me, love, it's just that thing that I don't know. I was shown that that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
It's
So we
just
can
that
feel
word.
that.
That word. My favorite movie, Romeo and Juliet. Just the ultimate love story. It's just everything. I've always had that in me, and I don't know. I've always just innately love others in some way, and yeah, life. Even after being touched by an angel, I can't say it's been a box of potpourri and everything's happy. You
It's
still
a
have to
process. It's a
travel
process, yeah. Because I think with our love, it gets a little bit distracted by the attachment.
Yeah.
And we have mistaken attachment for love on many, many occasions, thinking that it really is. And I've noticed that for myself, I know when I'm in an attached mode, it follows sorrow or excitement.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to kind of figure out how to keep navigating back to love and not get addicted to the excitement or the sadness, because those are also very easy addictions for our personalities to be set in. Well, we're coming to a close, and I would love to, get a little shout out about your show, the Mindset Reset Show, which you co-host. And I love the one you did with the Corin brothers. I love those guys. I love their music. They are so good. I was at a session with them a few years ago, and I go, my God, these guys are so talented. So tell us a little bit about the Mindset Reset Show, which you co-host.
Yeah, so Lisa Winston and I started the show. She's an amazing light. Believe it or not, we've never met in person. We were on a summit together, reconnected, and we were like, we need to do something together. We're being guided. What is that? And I'm like, I don't know. And we said, I think we're supposed to do a show or something. And so we just did, and it just happened like overnight, and people came, and we've had some amazing luminaries on there, just learning and seeing other perspective. All those soul hitches I've had, uh, it's just been, as you said, the Corn Brothers. Just hearing them and their journey and what they do, and being connected to some of these amazing people around the world has really been a gift and a blessing. We've taken a little hiatus because Lisa had some health issues, but it's coming back. So we're hoping to schedule a few more episodes, and I still have a couple more in production you haven't seen yet. So we've had some other going to release soon on the page. So
Beautiful.
Mindset Reset TV. And then I've been doing
Beautiful.
a lot with the spiral share and marketing. And I have a whole marketing side in spiritual marketing and helping other people with launching books and developing websites. As I said, I'm the programmer guy, so I have both halves. So they don't always line up, but I try.
No, I think, sometimes we try to strike a balance between generating revenues to pay bills, which is a normal part of life, but to be able to find our passion in doing so. And sometimes I kind of question certain people. They go, "You're not supposed to sell this, you don't go there, you should be like," I go, "You're going to have to earn a living.
Yeah.
This is the way." It's just, celebrate the fact that I found my passion and I'm able to help others and also help to keep a roof over my head. Of course, when you look at stuff like, a televangelist or very, well-known
Right.
speakers or movers, and they're in $100 million homes and driving Ferraris and planes. I think about them and I go, well, I guess because they have so much cash, they don't know what to do with it. But then you think about there's so much to do in the world,
Right.
and then you realize no matter how great you are or how much you're moving into your greatness, desire and greed and, not feeling fulfilled with that you're enough travels through everyone, through everyone.
I had this
Whether
same,
you're
was an older gentleman, and he kind of looked like Sean Connery. And I said, I don't care about money. I just want to help others. And I really don't care about that. And he looked at me and he said, Robert, if you want to help others, you better be successful because you won't be able to without that. And he told me that when I was in my early 20s. And I said, all right, he's right. I got to go and do something. So let
He was
me
right.
do what I
He's
can do.
right. You see, money's not an evil. It's your consciousness behind it that determines that.
Absolutely.
I've seen poverty as an evil. I've seen that if I can't pay my mortgage or my rent, it's an evil because now I'm not going to be at peace, and doesn't matter how much spirituality I have. I need food, I need shelter, I need clothing. So it's not money isn't the evil, it's the way that we look towards it or in our perception or intent in it. So, what one single word, saying, or motivational quote would you like to, well, you identify with the most that you can leave us with?
Yeah, the I love these words. These are my favorite, my ultimate one that just I love the image it paints in my head. It was one of the early ones that I had received, but it's love has no walls, thus it cannot be conquered. Love has no boundaries, thus it is always open. And love has no limits, thus it has no end.
Beautiful. I love that. I'll take that through the whole day today. Leave us with the best website that everyone can get in touch with you.
It is guidetothesoul.com, and that has links to everything else, all the things I'm doing or inspirational pieces, other people. Got everything on there.
Robert Clancy, you're an absolute gift to the world. Thank you so much for joining us on America Meditating and Next Normal. It's been our blessing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Everyone, I'm sure that you've picked up and felt the intentionality of the wonderful Robert Clancy. Please go to his website and find out more about his work and what he's offering. And I can't wait to look at his fan page, become a fan. So, as we navigate through our journeys, I say this in so many shows. I want to be stronger inside, and I want you to be stronger, and I want the world to be stronger. And is love the way? Love, perspective, common sense, kindness, sometimes knowing when you just have to let it go because you just can't do anything with it anymore. It might not be ready to receive your love. So give it some time until it's ready. But it shouldn't be that I lose my love because it's not doing well on the outside. Maybe it's not doing well on the outside to increase my capacity of love. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us. Please take care. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission. And I suspect we're actually all here to love each other the same. Take care. Be well.
Sweet divine, you know my soul in intimate light. You guide me with a map of signs. Let me know that it's all right. It's all right. Sweet divine, when we speak in deepest prayer, in the silence feel you there, like you're always so aware of me. And in these conversations, you help me see the way. These conversations, my unique offering. These conversations, the healing that is mine to claim. Oh, sweet divine. Sweet divine, in your gaze I'm never alone. You lead me back to heart and home. Help me hear the truest tone of who I am. Sweet divine, even when I'm living asleep, forgotten how to listen deep, you find a way to sing to me through the night. In these conversations, you help me see the way. These conversations, my unique offering. These conversations, the healing that is mine to claim. Oh, sweet divine.
Rice Alley Restaurant wishes you happy holidays. Located at 6838 Piedmont in Gainesville, Virginia. We're a family-owned restaurant and offer authentic Asian cuisine and sushi. Come, savor our delicacies made with love and enjoy the perfect ambiance. We look forward to seeing you there.